No one warns you about this kind of exhaustion. It's not physical. It's not from running errands or checking things off a to-do list. It's the kind that lives in your chest, the kind that follows you to bed and meets you the moment you wake up. It's the weight of your own thoughts. You think you're solving something, but really you're spiraling, replaying old conversations, rethinking decisions that are already made, trying to predict reactions that haven't happened. Your brain is loud, but your heart? It's gone silent. Overthinking feels like control, like you're staying ahead of pain. But it's not control. It's fear dressed up as productivity. You don't want to feel uncertain, so you think and think and think. You're not planning. You're protecting. From what? From the unknown. From the hurt. From the silence that might follow if you stopped. But here's the truth. The more you think, the less you feel. And the less you feel, the more disconnected you become. From your body. From your needs. From yourself. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists but will grow in size." You resist uncertainty, so it grows. You resist emotional discomfort, so it multiplies. You think you're managing your emotions, but really you're avoiding them. And that avoidance becomes your life. Let me tell you about Lena. Lena was smart, driven, always on. She prided herself on being thoughtful, always a few steps ahead. But when her boyfriend suddenly broke up with her, her brain couldn't let it go. She replayed every text, every smile, every delay in his replies. She read between every line, analyzed every photo he liked after they broke up. She journaled for clarity, talked to friends until they got tired of listening, searched for clues like it was a murder mystery. She thought if she just kept thinking, she would find the missing piece, the sentence, the moment. That would make it all make sense. But it never came. Because what Lena really needed wasn't another answer. It was rest. It was grief. It was release. But she couldn't access any of that because she was stuck in her head, trapped in the loop of why. And that's the hidden cost. Not just time, not just sleep, but your ability to feel alive, to be here. Now, overthinking isn't clarity. It's clutter. It's white noise that drowns out your intuition. It gives you the illusion of movement while keeping you emotionally stuck. And slowly, it breaks you down. You stop trusting your gut. You stop making decisions. You become afraid of choosing. Afraid of being wrong. Afraid of being misunderstood. You start asking others for answers, even when you know what you want, because you've forgotten how to hear yourself, how to be still, without fear crawling into your chest. So you fill every moment with thought, scrolling, planning, revisiting, as if your mind is a weapon that can solve everything. But not everything needs solving. Some things just need feeling. That's what overthinking steals. Your presence, your peace, your power. You begin to think you're broken because you can't stop thinking, but you're not broken. You're afraid. And no one taught you how to feel safe without needing certainty. So your brain works overtime, trying to predict pain before it happens, trying to find answers for questions your heart hasn't fully asked yet. You say you want peace, but you keep doing anxiety. You say you want clarity, but you chase it with chaos. Jung was right. What you push away doesn't disappear. It waits. It grows. It becomes louder until you finally pause long enough to feel it. So how do you stop? How do you break the loop? It doesn't start with thinking less. It starts with noticing. Noticing when your mind is spiraling, when you're not present, when you're thinking at your emotions, instead of through them. Ask yourself, what am I trying not to feel right now? The answer won't always be obvious, but the question matters. It creates a crack, a space, a moment of honesty. That's all you need to begin. One moment of truth, one pause, one breath. Because healing doesn't happen through analysis. It happens through awareness, through softness, through saying, I don't know, and that's okay. Overthinking is not who you are. It's something you learned. To feel safe, to stay in control, to avoid getting hurt again. But it's time to unlearn it. To come back to your body. To remember that not every thought is worth following. Not every question needs an answer, and not every moment needs to be figured out. Some just need to be felt. Anxiety doesn't always look like panic. It's not always sweaty palms or racing thoughts. Sometimes it's quiet. It looks like productivity, like trying to plan everything to perfection, like rereading a text 3 times before hitting send. It looks like asking your friends for advice on something you already know the answer to. It's staying busy, so you don't have to sit with the stillness. Because in the stillness, the fear starts talking. This is the anxiety we normalize, the kind we wear like a badge. I'm just overthinking. I'm just being careful. I'm just trying to be prepared. But you're not preparing. You're protecting. You're trying to avoid pain before it even has the chance to touch you. That's not clarity. That's fear. And fear dressed up as logic is still fear. Overthinking is not a mental strategy. It's an emotional shield. Your brain is doing laps because your heart is too scared to feel. You keep thinking, if I can just figure it out, I won't get hurt. If I can predict it, I can prevent it. If I can understand it, it won't destroy me. But here's the truth. You don't need more understanding. You need more compassion. For the part of you that's scared. For the part that doesn't trust life, or love, or yourself. Let me introduce you to Noah. Noah had a good job, supportive friends, a partner who cared. But every night, his mind went to war. What if he said something wrong in that meeting? What if his partner loses interest? What if this feeling of something bad is coming means he's missing a sign? He thought it was intuition. But it was anxiety in disguise. It wasn't clarity. It was fear. Fear that if he relaxed, he'd get blindsided, hurt, abandoned. So he stayed alert. Overthinking became his armor, made him feel safe, until it didn't. Until his partner said, I feel like you're never really here. Until his friends stopped replying as often. Until he couldn't sleep. Couldn't focus, couldn't remember what peace ever felt like. That's the danger. Anxiety becomes your identity. You forget who you are underneath it. A gentle soul, a deep thinker, someone who just wanted to feel safe. But no amount of overthinking can give you safety, because safety isn't intellectual. It's emotional. It's somatic. It lives in your nervous system, not in your logic. The body keeps score, and yours is screaming, please slow down. Please stop thinking you're in danger. Please come back home. You can't soothe anxiety by giving it more to analyze. You have to meet it where it lives, in your breath, in your body, in the places that tighten. Every time you're asked to trust, let me be clear, you're not broken. You're conditioned. Conditioned to stay vigilant. Conditioned to equate stillness with risk. Conditioned to believe that rest equals laziness. But healing starts when you stop negotiating with fear and start creating safety within yourself. Oh, start small. Notice when your thoughts start spiraling. Pause. Name it. This is anxiety, not truth. This is fear, not fact. Then breathe, not deeply, just slowly. Remind your body, we are not in danger. We are safe in this moment. Put your hand on your chest or your stomach. Anchor yourself in something real. A warm mug, a soft blanket, your own heartbeat. Anxiety thrives in the abstract, so bring yourself back to the tangible, the present, the now. Overthinking gives you the illusion that you're in control, but what you really need is connection to your body, to your breath, to your truth. And your truth is this: you don't need to figure it all out. You just need to be here, with all your mess, all your fear, all your longing to feel whole again. That's how healing begins. Not with certainty, but with compassion. Not with fixing, but with feeling. So the next time your thoughts go loud, don't fight them. Don't feed them. Just say, hey, I see you. But I choose peace today. Not because the fear is gone, but because you're learning to stop letting it drive. And that choice is how you begin to reclaim your energy. You think if you just figure it out, you'll feel better. That peace is a problem to solve. That healing is found on the other side of a perfect explanation. But peace isn't intellectual. It's not a formula. It's not found in the why. It's found in the letting go. The mind wants closure. It wants neat endings. It wants to rewind, dissect, analyze. Again, and again, and again. But the soul? It wants stillness. It wants rest. It wants surrender. You don't need another answer. You need to stop asking the same question that keeps you stuck. The mind says, why did they leave? Why didn't they love me back? What if I had tried harder? But no answer will feel like enough, because the wound isn't logical. It's emotional. You're trying to reason your way out of grief, out of rejection, out of shame. But those aren't puzzles. They're experiences, and experiences can't be solved. They can only be felt. Let me tell you about Layla. Layla was a thinker, smart, capable, always prepared. She could plan a trip in 10 minutes, fix your resume, find the perfect birthday gift. She could fix anything except her own pain. When her ex disappeared without a word, she spiraled. She told herself she was fine, but every night she replayed it. What she said, what he said, his last message, the pause before he hit send, the emojis, the tone. She read articles, watched videos, tried to decode the silence, as if it had hidden meaning. But silence isn't a code, it's an absence. And absence can't be solved. 6 months passed, and she was still stuck in the same loop. Until one day, her friend asked, "What are you hoping to find?" And Layla froze, because she didn't know. A reason? A way to feel like it wasn't her fault? Something to prove that love was real? But no reason could undo the ending. No clarity could erase the ache. She realized she wasn't seeking answers. She was trying to avoid acceptance, because accepting it meant it was over. And over meant loss. And loss meant pain, real pain. Not the numbing loop of thoughts, but raw grief. So she made a new choice. She stopped asking why, and started asking, what do I need now? That question changed everything. She needed to cry, to scream, to sleep, to stop pretending she was okay. She needed music that broke her heart open, poetry that made her feel less alone, walks without her phone, mornings with tea and no answers. That was the beginning of her healing. Not the day she figured it out, but the day she stopped trying to. Here's the truth. You don't need more thinking. You need more feeling. You need to sit with the ache, to say, This hurts and I'm still here. This doesn't make sense and that's okay. I'm allowed to not know. Overthinking is a false god. It promises peace and delivers paralysis. It keeps you in limbo, stuck between past and future, avoiding the only place peace actually lives, right here, in this breath, in this body, in this moment. You are not a machine. You don't need more data. You need more grace. Grace to be broken. Grace to not have it together. Grace to stop spinning stories about why you weren't enough. You were always enough. They just couldn't see it. Or they weren't ready. Or they were too wounded to love you well. That's not your fault. And it's not your job to fix. Your job is to feel, to rest, to rebuild. Slowly, tenderly, truthfully. Carl Jung said, "What you resist not only persists, but will grow in size." The more you resist feeling, the more your mind will spiral. The more you resist rest, the more your body will scream. The more you resist the unknown, the more it will control you. But the moment you say, "I don't need to figure this out today," your shoulders drop, your breath deepens, and a little space opens inside you. A quiet space, a sacred one. That space is not the answer. It's something better. Peace without explanation. Peace without closure. Peace that comes from trusting you'll be okay, even when you don't understand everything. You don't find peace by knowing. You find it by releasing, by softening, by remembering. You are not your thoughts. You are not your loops. You are not your fear. You are awareness. You are breath. You are becoming. So the next time your mind goes spinning, don't try to stop it. Just notice it. Name it. Say, "This is the storm, but I am the sky." Let the storm pass. It always does. And when it does, you'll still be here. Whole, breathing, unbroken. You show up on time. You get things done. You look calm on the outside. But inside, you're exhausted. You're the reliable one, the strong one, the one everyone turns to. But no one sees you struggling, because high-functioning anxiety hides behind achievement, behind smiles, behind productivity. You're not okay, but you look okay. And that makes it even harder to ask for help. People praise you. You're so organized. You're so calm under pressure. You always have it together. But they don't see you, lying awake at 2 a.m., replaying conversations, worrying about everything, feeling like if you stop, it will all fall apart. This is the trap. You've learned to perform stability instead of feeling it. You've learned to cope by controlling everything around you. But control is not peace. It's survival, and survival mode was never meant to be permanent. You learned to be high-functioning because you had to. Maybe no one came to rescue you. Maybe you grew up too fast. Maybe love felt conditional. So you became the overachiever, the perfectionist, the one who never rests, because rest felt dangerous. Because if you slowed down, you might feel it all, the fear, the shame, the grief you bury just to keep going. Let's talk about Chris. Chris was the definition of success. Corporate job, nice apartment, worked out every day, meal prepped, posted inspiring quotes. Everyone thought he was thriving, but Chris was unraveling. He couldn't sleep without noise. His chest always felt tight. He'd cry in the car but tell no one. Why? Because he thought anxiety meant weakness. Because he thought if he admitted it, everything would fall apart. So he kept performing until his body forced him to stop. Panic attacks, burnout, total collapse. Because you can only run on empty for so long. That's the thing about high-functioning anxiety. It doesn't scream. It whispers in headaches, in stomach aches, in irritability, in fatigue you can't explain. It's your nervous system saying, I'm not okay. But you've trained yourself not to listen, because the world rewards the mask, the hustle, the doing. But healing starts when you stop performing peace and start creating it. It starts when you say, I don't want to just survive. I don't want to just look okay. I want to feel safe in my own body. Oh, step 1, pause. Even when it feels unsafe, especially then. Let the dishes wait. Let the emails pile up for an hour. Sit with yourself. Not your to-do list. Not your plans. Just you. Step 2, feel. This is hard, because you built your identity around being fine. But underneath fine is a version of you that's aching, tired, overlooked, over-responsible. That version needs your attention, not your judgment. Let yourself feel messy. Let yourself cry without knowing why. Let yourself not be strong for once. Step 3, redefine success. Success is not doing everything. It's not never resting. It's not always being available. Success is honoring your limits. It's saying no without guilt. It's being honest when you're not okay. It's choosing your peace over your performance. Step 4, practice softness. Softness isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's saying, I don't need to be hard on myself to grow. I don't need anxiety to stay motivated. I don't need to earn rest. I deserve it. Your nervous system needs softness. It needs warmth, slowness, connection. Not more spreadsheets. Not more perfection. Not more pretending. You are not a machine. You're a human. And humans are allowed to break down, to ask for help, to rest, to be seen in their mess. High-functioning anxiety tells you, you can't stop. That if you rest, you'll fall behind. That if you don't overthink it, you'll mess it all up. But the truth is, rest isn't losing time. It's reclaiming it. Presence isn't laziness. It's power. And peace isn't found in the next achievement. It's found in the next breath. Carl Jung reminded us, what you resist not only persists but grows. You've resisted rest. You've resisted feeling. You've resisted vulnerability. But those are the very things that bring you back to life. So here's your reminder. You don't need to do more to be worthy of love. You don't need to be perfect to deserve peace. You don't need to perform to be enough. You are enough, even in stillness, even in fear, even when the mask falls off, especially then. Because in that rawness, that honesty, that softness, you finally meet yourself. Not the version you show the world, but the one underneath, the one who's been waiting to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel free. And that's where healing begins. You don't need a new version of yourself. You need the real one back. The one before the anxiety, before the constant spinning, before you forgot what calm felt like. Emotional clarity isn't a luxury. It's your baseline. You were born with it. Before the noise, before the overthinking, before the world told you you had to earn love by being perfect. But somewhere along the way, you stopped trusting yourself. You started outsourcing truth to validation, to logic, to people who didn't deserve your softness. You learned to stay in your head because your heart didn't feel safe. That's where the fog began. You can't hear your intuition when you're drowning in noise. You can't feel peace when your brain won't stop analyzing. But clarity doesn't scream. It whispers. It lives in still moments, in soft breaths, in honest feelings. You don't find emotional clarity. You clear space for it. And that's what this chapter is about. Clearing, slowing, returning. Let's break it down. Step 1. Clear the static. You can't hear your inner voice when the volume's always up. The static is too many opinions, too many tabs open, too much trying to be liked. Start subtracting. Mute the noise. Take a day off social media. Stop asking people what you should feel. Stop Googling your emotions. Not everything is a diagnosis. Some things are just your body saying, "I'm overwhelmed." Listen to it. Take a walk without music. Eat lunch without your phone. Breathe with nothing to fix. That's not laziness. That's tuning back in. Because your clarity is still there. It's just buried under noise. Step 2. Reconnect with your body. You think you can think your way into clarity, but clarity lives in the body, not the brain. Your chest tightens when something's wrong. Your gut clenches when you're ignoring truth. Your shoulders rise when you're in defense. Start noticing. Where do you feel no in your body? Where does yes live? How does safety feel in your skin? Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. It's the most honest voice you have. Layla, remember her? The one replaying the breakup? She started body scanning each morning. Just 2 minutes. Eyes closed. Asking, what does my body need? Some days it was movement. Other days silence. But every day she asked. And that was the turning point. Because the more she listened, the more the noise in her mind began to settle. Her body became her compass, not her anxiety. You can do the same. Step 3. Emotional naming. You're not just tired. You're overwhelmed. You're not fine. You're numb. You're not over it. You're avoiding it. Start naming your truth. Words are powerful. Naming an emotion reduces its hold. It turns chaos into something you can hold. Say it out loud. Write it down. I feel lost. I feel resentful. I feel scared and I don't want to admit it. That's where clarity begins. In truth, not in perfection, not in always having it together. There is no clarity without honesty. And honesty always begins with yourself. Step 4. Make space for grief. Most overthinking is unresolved grief. Grief for what didn't happen, for who didn't show up, for how you betrayed your own needs, just to keep the peace. If you don't grieve it, you'll overthink it. You'll keep running mental circles, trying to rewrite a story that already ended. Let yourself grieve. Write the letter you never sent. Scream into a pillow. Cry in the shower. Let the tears say what words can't. That's not weakness. That's emotional clarity. Grief clears what clutter can't. Because when the grief passes, clarity comes. The fog lifts. You breathe again, not because you have all the answers, but because you've finally accepted what is. Step 5. Rebuild from stillness. Don't rush the next chapter. Don't jump into noise, just because silence feels uncomfortable. Stay here a little longer. Let stillness teach you. This is where you ask, what do I want to feel more of? What is actually mine to carry? What version of me am I ready to release? Emotional clarity doesn't mean you're never sad. It means you trust your sadness. It doesn't mean life is always light. It means you're no longer afraid of the dark. This is maturity. Not knowing everything, but trusting yourself, no matter what comes. You become less reactive, more discerning, more honest, more alive. Carl Jung said, "What you resist not only persists, but grows." When you stop resisting your emotions, they soften. They guide you. They stop screaming. Clarity is the reward of emotional courage. And you've been brave just by reading this far, by facing your thoughts, by being willing to stop the loop, by choosing to return to yourself. So here's your reminder. You are not your overthinking. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You are the awareness underneath it all. You are the calm after the storm. You are the clarity you've been chasing. And it was never far. It was just buried. Beneath noise. Beneath fear. Beneath a world that told you to look outside for peace. But it's always been inside you, waiting. So now, you begin again.